All right, let's start. Welcome everybody. Welcome to this webinar about the newest and the latest Centreon software release, Centreon 24.10. My name is Pierrick Martel. I am in charge of product marketing at Centreon. I'm here with three product managers, Romain, Laurent, Florian. This webinar is recorded. You will receive an email with a link to the recording in a couple of days. Let's have a quick look at the agenda. This release is of importance to us because it starts a new life cycle. Laurent will discuss this life cycle. It was announced a few months ago. Then we'll discuss the two big topics, the monitoring agent with Florian, and Romain will discuss the Centreon dashboards. We'll go through some miscellaneous improvements with Laurent, and then we'll discuss about what it takes to upgrade to Centreon 24.10, operating system, database, whatever. And we will end with a question and answer session. So you can ask your question using the Ask the Speaker tool on the right-hand side of the user interface. I will see these questions, and at the end, I will read the questions so that the product manager will answer them. You can ask your question at any time during the presentations, and we'll go through them in the same order, but just at the end. Before we start, a last word. As we speak, Centreon 24.10 is not released yet. This is now a question of a few hours, maybe a few minutes. Maybe it will be released during the webinar. It should be released before the end of this day or very soon, right on time to have a great Halloween party. So let me ask Laurent to join. Good morning, Laurent, or good afternoon.
Hi everybody.
I will let you go through this new life cycle that is starting with 24.10.
Yes, okay. So this session will introduce a new life cycle, why we change it, to give you 1 year more to update your platform. We know that for some companies it's difficult to update your platform every 18 months or every 2 years. Each new version will include more enhancement and features, and this will offer us the opportunity to perform a true beta test for next major release. So with this new release in October, we will deliver only one version per year now. Of course, we will deliver a minor version every month for all supported Centreon versions. Even year version will be supported for 3 years, long-term support. And for all the years versions, there will be support 18 months, so it's a short-term version. And in April, we will release a service pack to indicate that everything is okay. You can now migrate to this version. So if we check, so the next 24.10 will be the first long-term support version with 3 phases. The first one is to fix all issues, to improve our software. The phase 2, we will deliver only fix on critical bugs and security issue. And for the third phase, we will fix only high security issue. And this will help us to deliver beta packages for the next major version. And the community can help us to improve stability for each version after each version.
All right. So there will be no 25.04 in April next year. The next major release will be 25.10 in 1 year from now, but there will be a service pack at the same time based on 24.10. And we will enjoy now this one release per year cycle for the next few years. All right. So it means that this version is probably more important than usually, and maybe this is the one you will upgrade to, because you won't upgrade to the one in April next year, which doesn't exist. All right.
Exactly. All right. And this it's only from now, so it means for all existing supported version, we will not change the life cycle.
Sure. The life cycle says the same for any version that we have released prior to today.
Yes, 2 years.
Okay. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. That was presented in early July this year with a blog post and a video that explains everything. So you can retrieve all this information on our corporate website, www.centreon.com, and also on the Watch, the community platform. Good. Let me, how do I move forward? I can't seem to, let me ask Florian to join. All right.
Hello.
Hello, Florian. So let's discuss this new Centreon monitoring agent.
Yeah, okay, let's go. Hello, everyone. So today we'll talk to you about the fresh news about the Centreon monitoring agent and the OpenTelemetry strategy. We already discussed in some webinars or in the watch about the Centreon strategy, about OpenTelemetry, about agent. The purpose was to answer both NRPE and NS client depreciation, and also answer to the market need about having some feature and a real strategy about OpenTelemetry. So we discussed about that lot of time, lot of brainstorming, and two main direction was chosen. First one is about replacing NS client and NRPE by providing a Centreon monitoring agent, which is totally agent made from scratch by Centreon and maintained by Centreon to do monitoring stuff. So basically, it's dedicated to replace NS client and NRPE. So this agent has dynamic configuration. So you continue to use like NS client to declare host and services and Centreon and to push the configuration, and the agent is executing the configuration. Is also able to execute custom plugins and also able to do and soon will able to do some native checks. That's about non-metrics only. So this is not a full open telemetry, a full observability agent, and it has also output management. And in the second part, we also wanted to work on open telemetry and to do a first step to the world of observability by providing a support for open telemetry agent like Telegraph. We started with Telegraph, and we provided in June, since June, a beta, which is available on the watch to connect the Telegraph agent to Centreon, to Centreon Polar, and be able to execute Centreon plugins, custom plugins with Telegraph, and to receive and store and monitor metrics from this agent in Centreon. So today I will do a focus on what's new on Centreon monitoring agent. But I need to give more overview about this strategy by presenting the 5 steps for open telemetry and Centreon monitoring agent strategy. As I said, first step was in June with the beta launch for the support of open telemetry agent, Telegraph agent. The goal was to provide the support for this for Telegraph and to validate the use case, which is collecting metric and statuses from a Telegraph agent based on Centreon or custom plugins. The second step was released a few weeks ago and in beta, and was about providing a Centreon monitoring agent for Windows and Linux operating systems, which is able to execute Centreon plugins, which is also provided with a Windows installer, which I will present more in detail in the next slide. And this agent is already available on the watch, and you can try with the beta program. I will talk about that at the end of the presentation. The next step for the 24.10.x, so in the next weeks and months, will be to provide a Polar agent configuration UI, which dedicated to replace the manual documentation, which is okay for one Polar, but can take some time for a huge number of Polars. So the goal is to ease the Polar configuration step by providing a very smart and clear UI and a lot of automation to avoid to do some manual operation on JSON file on Polar or other stuff like that. So you just have to go in the UI, validate, put some fields, certificate name, and validate. And it applies to a huge number of Polars.
Cool.
In parallel of this work, the team in charge of developing the agent is working on native checks. So the goal here is to add, and especially the case for Windows agent, but it's for both, to add a lot of checks which are not Centreon plugin, but which are native, so better performance. And it allows us to enhance our agent to do a serious proposition of an agent which is not linked to the Centreon plugin, which is not linked to the plugin execution, but is really a standalone agent with onboarded included native checks, which can be executed with another system than Centreon if necessary. So that's about interoperability, and that's about having one agent instead of a lot of different agents for the same host. The goal is to do some rationalize the agents. This stuff will be available also in 24.10.x. And next, it's not a step, it's a whole new world, if I may say, about observability metrics, because the goal here is not to provide one feature, it's to provide a lot of feature in Centreon. That's a really new paradigm to go through observability use case. So here the goal is not to execute Centreon plugins and to gather non-metrics, as I said before, but to really be able to gather observability metrics. So basically metrics that we don't know, unknown metrics, a lot of metrics which are gathered on the host and stored in Centreon. This step can be easy, store can be easy, but do some use case with real added value, like dashboard, like widgets, like way to do some notification based on regular expression and patterns, on tags and other stuff like that, on metrics which are not declared in Centreon, is totally different subject. And we really want to develop usage on that.
But this is not 24.10, this is the future. Maybe we'll see part of this in 25.10. So let's concentrate on what's available now.
Yeah. So what's available now is, as I said, the Centreon monitoring agent beta, which is now available. And you can find all information from for this beta on the watch, but dedicated article and documentation. And the Centreon monitoring agent deployment is basically 4 steps. First one is to deploy the agent on Windows or Linux host, to configure Polar, configure the host and services using dedicated connectors which are released since some weeks with the October connectors release, and to monitor this stuff using Centreon. I spoke about the agent. Here is an example of the agent setup, some screen of the installer for Windows. Windows installer is divided in 2 use cases. First one is UI, which is this one dedicated to install and configure the agent. The UI is also able to download Centreon plugins while installing. and it's okay for one host, but if you need to execute it on a huge number of hosts, like it's often the case, it's better to use a silent mode. We provide also a silent mode, which allow to execute the installer without any UI and to push all the parameters using command line. So you are able to deploy the installer on a huge number of hosts. The installer also allow to manage encryption, of course, to specify private key certificate, trusted CA, and can use also a root CA if already available on the host. You can specify different log types, event log or file, and different log level to have the right granularity of information in your logs. This installer also allow to have a Polar initiated connection, which is very useful in case of DMZ, for example, to allow the Polar to connect to the agent to initiate the connection, and not the opposite way, which is the default way. I will not be more technical on that today. So, but configure Polars. For now, that's a documentation which is available on the Centreon documentation. And as I said, for the 24.10.x, so for the next minor version, to be clear, 24.10.1, a new UI will be available to easily configure the Polar for the engine configuration, for Centreon monitoring agent, and for Telegraph. As I said, just a quick look on the two monitoring connectors which are available to use a Centreon monitoring agent for Windows or Linux host.
They were released last week as part of October released.
A quick overview of how you can manage them using dashboard with services like pending reboots, updates for Windows host, for example, or session. And as I said, you can and you should, and I will be happy to welcome you in the beta group and the watch to answer to your questions about OpenTelemetry and the Centreon monitoring agent, which is the same beta program group. And the goal is really to try the agent to identify if you need more features on this one, if you think something is not clear enough to use it, or just to say to us, good job, the agent answer really well to our needs. So yeah, we need your feedback, and we already need your feedback on this subject, because it's really linked to production usage, and I know you have a lot of use case that we need to know about the agent monitoring.
Yes, for the last 2 years, we had a lot of requests about, what is our strategy to replace NS client and NRPE. This is it with 24.10. We have a new agent, and it's ready for prime time, and you can start thinking about your strategy. If you have thousands of NRPE NS client environment deployed, well, it's for you now to think about how you will migrate all of that to the Centreon monitoring agent, and maybe you want to try it first, and maybe you want to join the group on the watch to get more information. Okay.
And thank you.
Again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them using the tool. I'm now welcoming Romain, who's on mute. Oh, hi. Hello, Romain. So that we discuss the second biggest topic of 24.10, which are the Centreon dashboards.
Yes, hello everyone. So as Pierre said, it's a huge focus that we are giving on the new Centreon dashboards feature, which will in the long future replace the custom views that you may already know. Yes, you can go on the next slide, please, Pierre.
Yes, you
so
can do
the
it
new
yourself.
Dashboards, sorry, thank you.
Yes.
The new dashboards were already available as beta feature for the 23.10 and has reached the general availability since the 24.04. So you can already try them. And of course, we're continuing to make them evolve, and many new features have been added for this 24.10 release. So, as I said, it's a new visual part of the UI for Centreon, really more flexible, easier to navigate into. Many new widgets are added every release, and there is a new sharing user experience. I won't go into details for these existing features, but I can highlight the novelties. So we added 3 new widgets, which are the business activity diagram for those of you who are using the business activities license. We added also a way to add a clock or a timer on your dashboard. And the third one is the possibility to add a web page using its URL to display it directly within the dashboard. So many other things have been added. I will just demo them to you right now, and we'll go back to this after.
Okay.
So it's a real demo. So hopefully everything is going to work.
Screen, I guess.
I'm not really on a 24.10, but it should work fine anyway. So here we are.
So
as I said,
add your screen sharing first to the main.
Yes.
It will take, here we are.
Yes. So 3 new widgets, as I said. You have the clock here, where you can define your time period, your UTC. You can even define your, if you want to see them using a 24 hours format or 12 hours AM, PM format. The timer can be useful to, I don't know, identify any downtime planned or something like that. So you can, of course, enable it directly within the widget and define hours or even days after. So 2 possibilities, and customization of the background color is available for this widget to make it a little more sexier. Second one is the business activity diagram. So as you can see here, I have a business activity that has an issue on its swap service. So I can directly identify where the issue is and the other nodes or the hierarchy of this business activity. So the other KPIs are hidden by default, but I can, of course, show them or hide them as I want. If I have a huge BA with many KPIs, I can navigate through them using this minimap. I can zoom in, zoom out, go back to my initial position. So very useful. And of course, as for any other widget, you can directly click on any element and you'll be redirected to the corresponding page with more details of what's going on. And the third and last widget that had been added for this 4.10 version is the web page. So here I just entered the URL of the Centreon documentation for an example. But of course, you can implement any URL you are allowed to use. Be careful when using other domains. Of course, you have to allow the cross-domain on the server first. But can be very useful, for example, to display any third-party graphic for example, Grafana or anything else you may use in parallel with Centreon. Then I'm going to show you other evolutions we made with this release for existing widgets. So first one is the implementation of the open ticket feature that you may already know, which we just rename as a ticketing feature, which is available within the resource table widget. So as a reminder, the resource table widget is a lighter version of the resource status page directly, where you can filter everything you want as in the resource status page. But you can also here now implement the open ticket if you have configured any ITSM provider within Centreon. So here I have a GLPI. I can directly create a ticket when I see an issue, and it will appear within this second widget. So just to show you quickly how it works, if I go into the properties of the widget, so I have my classic filter on the upper side, and if I go into ticket management, I have to enable it, which I already did, and select my rule, which is GLPI, and I can choose the widget I want. Either the one with no ticket, the resources with no ticket, or the resources that already have a ticket. If I go back to my global view with the two versions of the widget available, I will do a direct test. So if I open my ticket here, so this is the classic form with the fields you implemented within your rule and your configuration with GLPI or any other ITSM provider. So I created my ticket, which has the ID 5, and it will appear below. So we also added a refresh directly within all the widgets, and the last date of refresh is available here. So I didn't click on it. You see it has been refreshed automatically, but I can force it directly here. And you see that my ticket has been added directly here with an acknowledgement. That's why the color has changed. And I can also directly delete my ticket here once the action has been acknowledged and done. So that's for the open ticket part. Another thing I wanted to show you is the evolution concerning the status grid widget. So we added some pictograms on the top right showing the type of resource we are analyzing. So here are services, and those are the business activities, for example, that we added within the status grid. They were not available before, so now they are. And we also added the detail of the state of the resources, which one are acknowledged or in downtime. So you have a banner top with the pictogram, the corresponding pictogram visible directly in this widget. If I go into the widget, I also wanted to show you something we added, which seems quite obvious, but was not available yet. It's the fact that you are now helped with the metrics you want to, and the resource you want to add in the selection by filtering each time you add something. For example, if I add my host group HG, this one is just containing two polars, which is polar and polar 0, I think. So now you see that I have a polar 2, for instance. So if I click on it, of course, the widget is updating. So that was already the case. But what I wanted to show you is that now, if I choose to add another filter on the host, I will only be proposed with the one that are part of the parent, meaning in this case, the host group HG. So, and that works for any filter you want to add. So we are filtering to avoid making incompatible combinations of resources or metrics. So that's another good point. And then I can show you the evolution we made on the graph, metrics graph widget. So many things have been done here, more customization options. So for instance, you can see here that I have a smooth curve, which is now a parameter. We can choose if you want a step-by-step parameter, a smooth one, or regular curve. You can now define if you want to have an area, shown colored area shown below the lines. You can use the chart as a bar chart now, or as a stacked bar chart, depending on what you want to display. And many other parameters have been added. I won't show them all, but if you go now on the graph settings, you can see that I can even choose the opacity, the line weights, the line style, etc. I can zero center my graph if I have negative values, very useful, etc., etc. I can hide my grid line. I can place my legend where I want, and I can even define the details that I want within the tooltips. So as you can see, many things for the graph widget.
Very nice.
So that's it for the, let's say, the dashboard classic widget parts. Another big feature that I want to mention here is the playlist. So they were already available with the 24.04 as the private playlist, but now it is even possible to display a playlist directly on TV for projection, so without any authentication. as it was the case for the custom view, but with a more complex way with the auto-logging. This has been really made it simple with the playlist. So as a reminder, the playlist is part of the IT extension edition, so you need a license for that. And once you do that, so for instance, I made my playlist with 2 dashboards. As you can see, they are displayed one after another. I think it's every 10 seconds, the dashboard will switch to the next one. Here we go. I can, of course, pause and change my dashboard as I want if I need to analyze deeper. But what I wanted to show you, so that was already working with the 24.04, but now you can directly share your playlist, and in the sharing model, you can see the public link. So yeah, if I activated it, that's what I did already. I can copy an URL and it will work independently outside of the context of Centreon. So I show you this now. There we go. So I have no information about the menus of Centreon on the top or on the left. I have no action buttons here, except if I want to hover and if I have a mouse, but it's really done for TV projection only. So we removed every other action buttons. So really useful for projecting your dashboard anywhere in Nox or wherever you want.
Yes, or it could be also in some intranet into some iframe. That was one of the most requested feature, this public playlists.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's it for the demo. Let me go back to the slide. Yeah. So yes, I wanted to mention some things to be aware of. So as you may know, we are continuously adding features in Centreon Cloud first, meaning that we have releases almost continuously. So features are being added continuously there and are coming on the on-premise versions, of course, once every year, on minor versions, of course. The widgets are not yet including the MBI data, but we are working on it. So they should be available for the next major release. And I wanted to mention too that the map widget, which allows to display a map directly within a dashboard, is not working yet on an authenticated playlist. But this will be fixed on the minor version of the 24.10, of course, because this widget is really used by most people. And as I said, several new features are planned to be shipped in minor versions. So we are not stopping right now for the 24.10. It is planned already to add, for example, the favorites or some improvements, some graphical improvements to identify your dashboards using thumbnails, things like that. That will be coming very soon. That's it for dashboards.
Well, one thing we can say is that in the long term, dashboards will fully replace custom views. For the time being, like 24.10, you may use both of them, custom views and dashboards. But our recommendation is that you create your new dashboard using Centreon dashboards, and you don't create new custom views. And you even start maybe migrating your custom views to Centreon dashboards, because in the long run, someday, we might stop supporting custom views, and also because dashboards are so much nicer and so much more powerful, but it would be stupid not to use Centreon dashboards if you can instead of custom views. All right, that was my little advertisement for custom dashboards.
Good one.
Thank you very much. I see that there are a few questions already in the room chat. You can also ask your questions in the Ask the Speaker tool, and we will answer these questions at the end of the presentations. We won't forget them. Let me ask Laurent to join us again to discuss the next topic. A few announcements on the user experience, bug fixing announcements, but some bug fixings are very important. So I thought it would be useful to show all of them.
Yes, exactly. So as for any version we deliver, we try to improve our software, and especially our resource pages. So for this version, we fix user interface and around 20 issues. I will not pass item by item because it's a lot of items, but we fix the issues in global actions. We fix also issues in detail panel and the global search. I will show you a small video of some improvements we did. I need to launch the video. Yes. So we improved the responsivity of the Centreon web interface. So when you open the panel, you can see that the button reduced and you can see all available actions. Where is this pause? Continue. Okay. We fixed another issue regarding the search bar. So when you try to create filters, then okay, let's find a dedicated service. Okay, if you move to another menu here, availability report for hosts, then you go back to resource status. We keep your previous filter before it was deleted. So that's part of the small fixes. We fix also the ability to search for anomaly detection. So now if you use a modal filter and you search anomaly detection, you can see all anomaly detection services. If you search by host, then you want to display all services linked to this host. You can see now the anomaly detection services too. So yes, we made a lot of fixes to help you to operate on incidents discovered by Centreon. Let's continue. We also added two ideas from the watch. So as for each major version, we try to implement the most voted ideas. So the first one was the ability to duplicate a locked command from a monitoring connector. And the second one is the ability to do not check services if the host is in DOM state status. So it's a global option per poller. I have some screenshots. So here you can see the previous page of command and on the button, the new pages. So you can see that we change more action by icon. We put inline icon in order to help you to manage command. I have, if I remember, a small video about this. So let's start the video. So here you can see the new menus, the new icon. Of course, the inline icon to enable, disable, duplicate, delete. So if you display a locked command, you can see that now inline, you have the possibility, the ability to click on duplicate. Oh. Okay. So at the end of the line, you can click on duplicate. And of course, once duplicated, the command, you can edit it. You can change the command line and add new option or what you want to do. And if you save and you go back to your command, everything is okay. So now you can manage this duplicated command. Of course, you can duplicate it again. You can also delete it. So yes, we try to improve this interface and to answer to one of the most voted ideas.
Right.
And for the second point, it's a new option available in engine configuration. You can see in the buttons that you can enable poller per poller the ability to do check services when host is in done status.
All right. So on the watch, you have this section IDs where you can, do some request for enhancement, and you can vote for enhancements. So don't hesitate to do that because it's based on those votes that we will implement enhancements IDs on the product.
Yes.
Okay. Let's
great.
discuss now. We have discussed all the features, all the enhancements. Let's discuss what it takes to upgrade to Centreon 24.10 and what are the supported operating systems. But we'll answer probably one of the questions from Philippe. Go ahead.
Okay. So, as usual, for each new version, we explain in our documentation in the upgrade section how to move from the supported Centreon version to the last one. Just important information. Centreon Map Legacy will no longer be available with Centreon 24.10. So if you are still using Centreon Map Legacy, first you need to move to 24.4, then migrate to the new Centreon Map Engine, then migrate to 24.10. So yes, this legacy part of Centreon Map feature is no longer available.
And all customers who are still using Centreon Legacy have received a dedicated email on that subject explaining that they must migrate to the new Centreon map before upgrading to 24.10. If in case of doubt, don't hesitate to call the support if you have questions on that topic.
Okay, so let's see new dependencies and version. So just to remember that 33.04 will be supported for the next 6 months. And for the 24.10, or the first LTS, we support Enterprise Unix 8 and 9. We removed Debian 11 support, so we support only Debian 12. But I saw a question regarding migration to Debian 12.
Yes.
We made a lot of fix on our packaging, so you can migrate from Debian 11 with Centreon 24.04 to Debian 12. So we fixed all the packaging issues, so now you can perform your migration.
So that was a question from Philip.
Yes.
Yes, he had problems. So what you're saying is all those problems have been fixed, and now
Yes.
it should work fine. When 24.10 will be released in a few hours or tomorrow, that should all work fine.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we are still supporting Raspberry Pi for the collect.
So that's for the pollers.
Yes, for the pollers. And we moved to PHP 8.2. We still have MariaDB 10.11. We have MySQL, we support MySQL 8. And in a few months, we will support the new LTS from MySQL, and we will move to the version 8.4. So it's not yet available, but in 2 months, Centreon will support this version of MySQL.
Okay. That was our last slide, which means that we are now entering the question and answers section, right on time. So let me see. Steve had a question for Florian, but I will first ask Florian and Romain to join me on stage. The question was, will the Centreon monitoring agent be available on Mac OS? And Florian, you're on mute for now.
Yeah, so I answered in the chat, but yeah, it's
okay.
not planned for now. But it can be an option if we have a lot of requests on that. We can plan to provide a macOS version. Yeah. So my advice would be to create an ID and follow the voting on this ID.
Yeah, I guess what would be interesting is what is your use case, because these agents, Centreon is used to monitor servers. Servers are usually Linux or Windows, but maybe there are some use cases where servers that you monitor are macOS, I don't know. And that would be interesting to understand your environment and these use cases where macOS is being monitored by Centreon, so that we better understand the context. And the watch is the place to put all these comments and questions and things.
Totally.
All right. There was a question from Menad. I think it's a very generic question. Is this version, I think it's 24.10, compatible with VMware V8. So I'm not sure if can you install Centreon on a VMware V8 VM, or can you monitor VMware V8 with Centreon? Maybe we should answer both. Maybe, I don't know, Laurent.
I gave an answer about VMware 8 connectors, which are still in development and are planned for the next month. So we are talking not about 24.10, but about connectors release, which are independent.
Yes.
And about the VMware 8 deployment of Centreon platform, I will let Laurent answer. But for me, yeah,
it should be compatible with VMware V8.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question was probably more about monitoring V8, and what you're saying is that your team is working on developing a new connector for V8.
That's the main priority of the.
This is your top priority. Okay, so in one of the future monthly connector release, you will see this VMware V8 connector appear, and it will be compatible with 24.10, but probably also compatible with a previous version of Centreon. Yeah. All right. So we answered the question from Philippe about Debian 12. No, there is a very interesting question from Antoine about MBI, because we discussed many things, but we didn't discuss MBI. Are there any changes planned regarding MBI reports in 24.10? So the short answer, I guess, is 24.10 as is has no enhancement to MBI, but it's not saying that we are not working on things. I don't know who wants to answer this question.
I can answer. So yes, we didn't make changes on Centreon MBI, but you saw in this presentation Centreon dashboard with a real-time widget, and we are working to use Centreon dashboard with analytics widget to create your own reports. So we are working on a new solution to replace Centreon MBI, because with MBI you have a fixed report, so it's difficult to change them to create your own report. So we will use the technology of Centreon dashboard with a new technology to store and to compute data to have a new Centreon report feature later.
Yeah, so I guess we explained that in the past in some Centreon Connect event in Paris and other event, and we will discuss it further. I mean, Antoine and Benjamin, if you're in France and French speaking, you can join in 2 weeks from now the Centreon Summit, which is a French-only speaking event in Paris, but also you can also connect. That will be live, and we will discuss that further. MBI being based on some old technologies, instead of trying to improve MBI release after release, we are redoing it more or less from scratch based on these new technologies which is used for Centreon dashboard. So we are working a lot on reporting. It's one of the big R&D subjects for now, but you don't see nothing in 24.10 because it will arrive later with something much newer than just enhancement to MBI. And for now, you have to do with the current MBI for the time being. Okay, I don't see no questions. Let me tell you, how will you know when 24.10 will be released? So on the watch, if you look at the homepage of the watch, there will be a big announcement there. In the product itself, in the user interface, on the bottom left of the user interface, in the resource centers, there will be some message saying that 24.10 is available. If you are a Centreon customer, if you connect to the Guard portal, the support portal, the Guard, there will be a message. Social networks, there will be messages. There will be a blog post on our website in French and in English. And obviously the documentation will be updated with the release notes. So there are many, many different ways. I've probably forgot some. The product update sections on the watch also. Many different ways to know about 24.10. So just watch for it. And I think we are done for today. So if you are French or French speaking, please join us at the Centreon Summit in 2 weeks from now 14th of November. We will go in much more details on all these subjects, look at the roadmap and discuss other topics. So that should be fun and interesting also. For now, have a good day and have a good Halloween party tonight if you're in one part of the world where this is a thing, Halloween. Bye-bye.